Hello friends, it's me, Dana again. We're doing another Pudge Your Clothes Away With Me video. I like the idea of like doing dishes together when I've got loads of dishes, but I keep the tap on so the sound quality would be horrendous. But yeah, we're doing this today because I was going to film a real video and I hopefully will after this. But then my horrible abusive ex that you've heard about messaged me because do I want to explain this? I may as well, like you're here anyway. I'm going to start putting my clothes away though. So my ex was financially abusive because he could be. Lots of complexes and nuances and all sorts of shit going on there. And that means that he was paying my phone bill. Now I've had a SIM card for the last 3 months, 4 months. I've been paying my own SIM card that I'm not using because obviously like I have my mental health shit and autism shit and various other bits of shit going on. So I have multiple people that I'm referred to, organisations, charities, companies, whatever else, who are supposed to be phoning me whenever they do that. And obviously if I've got a different fucking number they won't be able to contact me and then I'll have to go through the entire referral process again, some of which has taken like over 6 months at this point. And my ex, like, all I fucking needed him to do was go on the website and sort me the pack code so I can transfer my old number to my new SIM. And this has been a multi-month stretched out thing. This is the last thing I need him to do. And as he was throughout our entire relationship, he's just fucking useless and can't do it and just keeps giving me all these reasons and excuses when it's like, I've literally phoned them up. Like, this is a very easy thing to do. If he's fucked it up, he's frankly done that on purpose and he'll insist that he hasn't. I'm not even going to bring it up because I know that he would insist that he hasn't. But how else do you fuck up something so incredibly simple without meaning to for the person that you were an abuser to for 8 years? Come on now. But his girlfriend also messaged me. Oh, I just said his name. But yeah, his new girlfriend messaged me being all like, I can defend him. And I'm like, honey, I've been you. Like, I sincerely hope that he's fucking nicer to her than he was to me because he abused me and I don't want to see anybody else get abused. But also, honey, like, I have been the bitch that's here defending him and messaging people and telling everyone, like, no, it's not his fault, it's not him, it's you and it's them and it's this. It's never, ever his fault. And I've been there, I've done that. I did that for years. And one of the things that especially weirds me out, and like I'm shaking quite dramatically, this whole thing has fucked me up. I hate this man. Like, I don't think I hate anybody else in the world. Like, there's people I dislike. He is the only person that like I fucking hate. Like, anyone else I'm like, oh, like, I don't like them, but I don't wish anything ill on them. I hope bad things happen to this man because he deserves it 1,000 fucking fold. Like, I'm not going to do anything to cause it, because I don't need to. He's going to get his comeuppance eventually. He'll fuck with the wrong person. But I don't think he's fucking with the wrong person right now, and his girlfriend, like, fucks me up a bit, because he has, at least this time, gone for an adult, so, like, round of applause for the groomer. But she looks so similar to I did when we first met. Like, she wears glasses and that's like the main difference. Like, we're around the same body size, we have very similar like just body shapes of that size, similar fucking faces, similar hair. Like, he has well and truly just found someone who looks so similar to like how I looked as a 16-year-old, and it weirds me out. Because like I spent years defending that like he wasn't essentially a paedophile, which let's face it, he was. He was with a 16-year-old at 21, like that is vile. And now he's gone for someone that looks like that 16-year-old did. It's real sus, it's real gross, it makes me feel a bit sick. And I feel bad for her. Because the thing is as well, like, it took me a good fucking while to get to move out of living with him after we'd broken up. And I saw the start of their relationship. I heard him, you know, he constantly tried to put across that like we were friends and everything was fine, and then he would spend hours and hours screaming at me and just being horrible. So he would like literally talk to me about his new girlfriend, and like it was shit where like this man had never painted. I really enjoy painting and he made me feel like I was too bad at it to ever bother doing it again. Like, he really always shat on anything I did creatively. But his new girlfriend's into watercolour, so when they first started dating, he took her down on the docks to do watercolours with her. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lovely date idea. but he's just doing this to lure you in like he did for me. Like, there's so much stuff that we did at the start of the relationship that he never did with me again, because he didn't want to engage in me and my interests. He just wanted some pretty young thing to keep around and cook his dinners and shit and take his fucking anger out on. Also, how cute's this cardigan though? I think it's handmade because there's no labels at all. Wait, is that a label? No, it's not. There is no labels. I didn't think there were. It's got little flower buttons. Yeah, I don't mean this to be such an angry, ranty video, but I'm just so, like, it's made me, like, really fight or flight. Like, I feel like I need to, like, do something, which is why we're doing this while doing a video, because I was about to film, like, a proper actual video, but this is just... And it makes me so angry, because he's sending me these, like, threatening, like, aggressive texts, and his girlfriend's fucking sending me texts being like, I can back him up, and it's like, they're just sending them and they don't care. Like, I can literally imagine him, like, laughing about it, and I'm here, like, panicking and shaking and trying not to cry because he destroyed me as a person over the 8 years we were together, you know? Like, there's so much stuff that I've done in the last, like, month that, like, I didn't think I would ever do, because he made, like, that's the thing, is I was so anxious, and I still have a lot of anxiety, and I think I always will, but it was during the relationship I had with him that my anxiety, like, really developed and became as bad as it was. And, you know, I don't think it's a fucking coincidence that I got away from him and suddenly I'm experiencing significantly less anxiety and I'm able to do a lot more and function better as a person, because it's so clear to me now that his constant put downs and his constantly putting his needs onto me and expectations and expecting me to do things for him, and, you know, like, I'm explaining what an abusive relationship is essentially here, aren't I? Like, that's what they do, that's how they fucking get the little relationship that they want, where you just do everything for them. Well, they're a narcissistic asshole that just expect and get and give nothing back and completely destroy your personality and who you are. And I had a taxi driver at one point that was fucking horrible. And it was while I was moving my stuff out of my ex's house. So, like, he was asking, like, oh, how come you're moving? And I was like, my ex is a horrible guy and I need to get out and this is how I'm doing it. And he explained how actually it was all my fault because I let this man abuse me. And, I mean, fuck off. Like, first of all, being abused is never somebody's fault. It's the abuser is doing the abusing. It is never the person's fault that is being abused. But also, like, the whole reason that people's abuse works in the way that it does is because you don't realise you're being abused. Like, I had people pulling me over in, like, the job centre and various different, like, organisations that we had to go to together who would be like, I don't want to be rude, but you're clearly in an abusive relationship and this man is not good. And I'd be like, no, you don't understand. You just don't get it. You don't understand, like, the nuances and complexities of our relationship. And actually, I really need him because I'm useless and pathetic and can't do anything without him. And, you know, like, he'd really made me believe that and really made me think that. And now I'm out here doing everything without him and I'm much happier and I do much more. And everything is so much fucking better. And I never ever would have believed it because he really made me feel as though, like, I needed him. You know, like, I've asked multiple times if he can sort this phone thing. I've asked multiple times if I can collect the last few things that I have at his house. Because I had told him I was moving. Like, I'd made him aware of it. And then I was like, okay, you knew that I was moving. I'm moving the rest of my stuff tomorrow. I will be gone. I'm taking the cats. I'm moving. And he spent easily 4 or 5 hours that night screaming abuse at me, just not even at me for some of it. Like, for some of it I was literally upstairs sorting my stuff and he was downstairs just screaming shit. Like, he was screaming that if he ever heard me and my girlfriend at the time talking shit about him again, he would phone the police on us. He was saying that, like, if I didn't do certain things, he was going to have me removed from the house tomorrow. And I was like, I'm literally moving while you're in work tomorrow. Like, you know, went off on an absolute diatribe of how actually I was really abusive to him and I, like, absolutely ruined his life because one time I called him a cunt. And it's like, yeah, after you'd been screaming at me for, like, 5 hours because I'd made a mistake at doing something, like I've never met anybody like him before or since. I'm very, very glad for that fact. But it baffles me that people like him, you know? And it baffles me that for 8 years, I thought, for, like, 4 years, Nice one, Oatman. I really thought that I was in love with him, that he was like trying his best, you know. That's the thing, is that even when I was like, this is the person I'm going to marry and spend the rest of my life with, I was still like, he's a bit useless. Like, he can't really do much, and he's not very smart. Like, he's really not very bright. And I'm aware that his music isn't really the best, and I'm even more aware of that now. It's been such an experience for me to go to like small local gigs with like really talented musicians and be like, oh, like I thought he was one of these, and he's such a fucking amateur in comparison. Like, I've shown some of his music to a couple of my friends and they just fully laugh because they were like, what? And he thinks this is like, I mean, he's put it on Spotify, like he's released it, like he thinks that's a song, and they're just like, fucking hell. You know, and like my friends aren't like, they should be because they have the talent, but they aren't currently like professional musicians, you know. They are essentially in the same place as he is, and also significantly younger. But that's the thing, is that I'm like, it baffles me that people like him, and it's like, most people don't. Like, I lost friendships over being like, I'm not going to accept my friends asking if we can ask him to leave the house he pays the rent for when they're here, and things like that. And now looking back, I'm like, yeah, fucking valid. Like, I don't want him around either. Like, you know, I can only imagine how uncomfortable it must have been for some of my friends to see the way that he treated me and behave towards me around them and have me stay with him. Like, I really didn't see it at the time, but looking back, I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't think I could have stayed friends with someone and watched them be treated like that and try and talk to them about it and have them be like, no, you just don't understand, you know? Like, there's a lot of relationships that I lost over him that I'm now like, I completely get that. Like, it sucks. I could have really done with the support, you know. It wasn't necessarily like the best thing to be done for me, but you've got to put yourself first, and if you don't want to be spending time around this horrible abusive man, I get it now. I'm sorry, I need to stop putting things away. You're gonna see me actually put stuff away today, I guess, because I don't want to stop filming just yet. But like, I've had to do this whole video just to like calm down to a bit more of a stable place. It fucking sucks, and it just, ugh. Like, I've had a really nice couple of days. Like, I went to my friend's gig. I went to a hardcore gig, and I was shitting myself over it, because like, little old me at a hardcore gig, really. But, number one, I didn't really entirely rationalise and understand what hardcore, like, fully is. Ugh. Like, I knew it was, like, heavy music, but I thought it'd be a lot less, like, tuneful, I guess? I don't know. I thought it'd be a lot more, like, just, like, chugging guitars and hitting stuff and screams, but it was good music that I really enjoyed, you know, and that kind of music's also good, valid music in its own way, but it's not what I would have enjoyed. Whereas it turns out, I really like hardcore, and I have actually started listening to some on the Spotify, because like, some of my friends play jazz, and I've been to their jazz gigs, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I love live music, and it's really cool to see my friends playing live, and they're really talented, I'm really happy to be here, but I'm not going to go home and listen to jazz, you know, like, I do feel like slightly out of place, but you know, it's cool seeing good music being played live, and it's all the cool that it's my friends, but it's definitely not my scene. Whereas I felt like this gig really kind of was. I don't know, everyone felt a lot more like heavy and gothic and whatever than I did, but I had a really good time, and I spoke to a stranger and like met a friend who turned out to already like vaguely know most of my friends, but you know, I tried. And we pinky promised that we're going to continue being friends, so I'm going to message them at some point and be like, do you want to grab a coffee, or... I don't know, I don't really know what people do with friends, but I'm going to figure something out. And then, yesterday, two of... No, they are my friends. I was going to be like, they're kind of acquaintances. They're friends, they're just like of the extended group that I don't see super often, have restarted a plant business. So I went to like a little market thing that they had going on, not them specifically, but they were at it with two friends, and had a coffee while we were there, and bought a new plant, which I then left at a different friend's house, because then my pal invited me for tea, and I went and stayed at theirs for tea, and then we went to a different pal's and had a little evening hang, and that's what I mean, like, I've had a couple of really nice days, filled with like social activity and friends and good people, and then just out of the blue I have to deal with this, and I hate it, and it makes me so anxious, and and it's especially like, I don't think about the relationship that often anymore, because it just makes me angry, as you've seen in this video. It just really, really makes me angry at this point. to the point where I've forgotten what my fucking point was about to be. Yeah, it's when I really think about it and I'm just like, I can't tell if he genuinely is unaware of the way that he treated me, you know, like I can't tell if he genuinely believes that he wasn't abusive and that like I was the issue, which I talked about greatly in the few therapy sessions that I had that were quite good, and you know, it wasn't me. Like, considering especially that he groomed me from being a 16-year-old when he was 21, and then like financially abused me and emotionally abused me and consistently made me feel terrible about myself and a whole lot of other things, like, it was not me. Which leaves, like, does he genuinely not know that? Does he genuinely not realise that he has been an absolute cunt of the highest degree for several years to someone he claimed to love? Or does he just really genuinely not care? And how can you not care about having been like that to someone? I know. Like, this dude wasn't even nice to the cats, you know? Like, I'd have let him keep a cat or two if he had in any way cared for them, been nice to them, showing them, like, genuine affection. But he only cared about the kittens, and only when they were, like, little and cute. He just massively decreased the amount of time he spent with them otherwise. You know, like, he just wasn't a nice fucking person in any way. And I don't understand how he's gotten into his fucking 30s acting like this and behaving like this and just doesn't seem to know. Or if he does know, doesn't care. It's insane. Anyway, I need to like put my underwear away and I don't want to show you that. So I'm gonna go now. I'm sorry this hasn't been a cheerful video. I promise future ones will be brighter. But I needed to get it out. I needed to vent about it somewhere. And you guys tend to either relate or be very supportive and nice to me. And I could do with either right about now. So yeah, that's that. I'm not doing self-promotion in this one. Whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year. And I will see you again in a couple of days.